Hey everyone, welcome on to our very special live masterclass today covering your money energy loops, helping you gain a lot more abundance, shifting those themes of lack in your life, and allowing you to quantum leap, have a mega transformation, healing internally, and allowing your money wounds and limitations to finally be released and free. I'm so happy you're here, whether you're here live or watching the replay, it doesn't matter. I want you to stay for this entire thing because on today's webinar, we're going to be talking about 5 steps. Okay. These 5 steps, if you grasp them, they're going to be super simple and easy that you can apply in just 10 minutes a day. But if you only get the second step and don't get step 4 and 5, or you don't get the 10-minute exercise we're going to do at the very end of this webinar, it's not going to make a lot of sense. It's just going to be a lot of great knowledge you learned, but you don't know how to apply it. If you grasp the things I'm talking about here as well, you can enter the abundance frequency and awaken to your highest calling and potential in a very simple process. You only need 10 minutes a day to apply the exercise. So that means it's not a lot of hour to 2 hours, 3 hours of studying and trying to do a million things, trying to binge watch YouTube videos and audiobooks on self-help, law of attraction, personal development. Instead, you're going to have a very real formula I've used, all my students use to really help themselves implement and move that level upwards. All right. If you're ready to awaken to your abundance, awaken to a higher level, throw number 1 into the chat box. We'll get started there. And we'll start sharing our whiteboard here in just a moment to get going. So again, throw number 1 in the chat box if you're ready to awaken to your abundance, your prosperity, higher frequency. Lots of ones coming through. It's fantastic. So before we dive into the whiteboard training, I don't have a fancy PowerPoint plan today, and I don't have a lot of fluff. What I like is simple and effective. Anybody else that way as well? You're on like 3-hour-long webinars, and it's like all this stuff constantly going on. What I like to do is be very frank with you, very blunt in a positive way, and be able to give you what you need and not what you don't. Okay, so a couple of things before we jump into today. Have you ever felt that you have a recurring theme in your life? And we're going to be talking about money here, but it could be in any area of life. But you have a recurring theme, for example, in money, that it's like money comes in, money goes out, or you do really well. You've had quantum leaps happen financially or in success in career, but it feels like you're always like missing your potential. It's like your potential is here and you come close, but you just never really get all the way there. Or you're doing well financially, but you don't have as much abundance as you wish. Or financially, things are just fine, they're comfortable, but you really don't have a full feeling of prosperity. It feels like every day you're still just working in its effort. It's hard sometimes. Anybody else feel that way? Throw yes in the chat box. If any of those scenarios resonate with you or it just seems familiar, anything I'm talking about here. Yeah, a lot of yeses. And if you're familiar with law of attraction, manifesting stuff into your life, maybe you've seen my emails lately about parallel reality manifesting, identity shifts, personal development, maybe listen into The Secret or Bob Proctor, Abraham Hicks, or personal development greats like Les Brown, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar. Throw number 2 into the chat box. If any of those concepts you're familiar with, you've already know a little bit about law of attraction, you know a lot about it. You've already entered a little bit of the healing maybe, or you know a lot of it. Anywhere in the spectrum, whether you're a beginner or a master at it, you've really been able to dive in. And throw a 3 if no, you've never heard of this stuff before. You never heard of law of attraction, manifestation, personal development. I'm going to factor in that we get almost no 3s, but definitely be honest if you're here and have that. I'm going to dive deeper with you today that I think is one of the deepest teachings. I don't know why more people aren't discussing this, because a lot of law of attraction videos out there are really talking about the basics. But I'm guessing you're in this webinar right now because you want to go beyond the basics. Anybody else with me on that? You're sick of hearing like attracts like, or your thoughts create your reality, right? Or think positively. Those are fantastic. Those are really great foundations. So I hope I'm not coming across judgmental, but rather those fundamentals, you might feel a calling to go beyond them. You kind of get the idea, the basic beliefs. You understand, yes, I create my reality. Yes, I do manifest things. Yes, I have an imagination. Yes, I have frequencies going on and all this stuff. But I'm really ready to dig deep. I want to be able to solve these themes in my life once and for all and be able to move on and evolve my life. Do you feel similar way? That's at least my stance. Anybody else feel that same way? What I encourage you to do in this whiteboard drawing that I'm about to do is draw this with me. Get a piece of paper and pen if you haven't already. This right here had allowed me to go from $0 literally a month. Like I was not earning anything. Well, previous to that, I was an aeronautical and mechanical engineer. I went to school for 4 years getting a Bachelor of Science. I did very good. I had a very high GPA. I had interviews at SpaceX, Bigelow Aerospace, other aerospace companies in the Mojave Desert in California. And I worked at a company for about 6 months and I felt like I was dying. My soul was craving something bigger. So I started getting some personal development and started to earn a little bit good, $1,000, $3,000 a month. But I started to leap from where I was as a beginner entrepreneur to making $10,000 a month. Then I did a leap to $20,000 a month, where I became top 10 coach under Bob Proctor when I started. And then I leaped to earning $40,000 a month, $50,000 a month range, over to $60,000, $70,000 a month, to earning $120,000 in a day. And I really want to be honest with you and vulnerable that there's nothing that I did that just randomly got me there in terms of skill set. It's not like I had some magic dust or I'm so great at marketing or coaching or business and entrepreneurship, because I wasn't. I was so young. I was in my early 20s when I got started and I had no idea what I was doing. But the thing I did know what I was doing was these energetics I'm about to talk about. So I really want to be frank with you that it doesn't matter where you're at today, whether you're struggling financially or you're doing super well, you're earning $50,000 a month or more, and you're ready to take it to the next level. These principles are the things that will make you leap. Again, I had no idea what I was doing in business. I honestly had never done any business really before, besides like a little side business that I started when I was, a lot younger in summer and different things. But that wasn't really a business; it was just a side gig. So if I was able to go from that to doing these leaps in finances, what changed? Like, how is that possible? That's the energetics that we're going to be talking about. So I really want you to see that the themes of your life, let me grab an arrow here, I didn't mean a circle. The themes of your life seem to push against you and we start to hate them. I hated where I was. I was listening to personal development every day in a car. Those of you that know Los Angeles, I had moved there from I grew up in New York all my life, lived in Massachusetts, went to California. And the traffic is crazy there, right? So I'd be in my car going to the gym. It would be technically maybe a couple of miles down the road, but it'd take you like 25 minutes just to get there, right? So I would be on Audible and listen to all the law of attraction stuff. And I just couldn't, every day I would do my affirmations, my visualization, my gratitude, but I kept throughout the day being so frustrated with my lack of progress. I was so agitated. I was in an agitated state a lot. So it felt like the universe was pushing me and testing me, and I didn't really understand. So if you're writing this and drawing this with me, okay, draw these arrows. And what these are obstacles or perceived obstacles. Things that are frustrating, money in, money out. You had a great month. The next month you're low. You are doing well, but it's like you're always in a plateau, or just something isn't tapped into flow. Does this make sense so far? You're like those kinds of ideas, maybe throw a 5 in the chat box if so, just get an idea of where you're at here. And again, I was pushing against the scenarios that were in my life. So it's like scenarios were pushing against me and I was pushing against it. So draw these little arrows. Let me get a little smaller arrow here. Draw these little arrows inside this big circle. Because often we're pushing against our own obstacles, and that's creating our plateau. That's creating our money energy loops. And a lot of you are probably asking, like, what is an energy loop in the first place? Well, an energy loop is basically synonymous with a theme, a money theme. It's a loop. It seems like you're in the same scenario over and over and over. You see this probably in your relationships a lot. It's like you have the same argument over and over and over, the same topic over and over and over, the same stuff over and over and over. Anybody else resonate with that? That's the same idea that we're talking around with money. Similar money situations doesn't seem like a lot quantum leaps, or you've seen the quantum leap, but again, you're in that plateau phase. So this is what we call the term energy loops. Okay. Now, again, we're going to go ahead and talk about money today, but after this live masterclass, you can apply this for any area of your life, from relationships, love, romance, all that stuff, over to health and wellness and fitness and all that stuff, over to business and sales and deals and all that stuff. Anywhere you want to go with this, you can use it, but we're just going to talk specifically about money today. So on my journey, and just to give you a little backstory about this idea in California, I literally would try to almost force my visualizations. I would read Think and Grow Rich, all these different books, right? And every night I would try and follow through and visualize and just go ahead into that bigger bank statement and all of that. But I would have so many stories, doubts, worries, concerns pop up the rest of the day. And that was very daunting because it's so frustrating. I wasn't gaining progress. And I remember just feeling disheartened. I remember feeling just down and out about life. Anybody else been there before when you're just circling over and over and over in the same stuff, that you feel just a little weary, a little down and out, a little disheartened. You don't know which way's up. You don't know where to go. Path doesn't seem so clear. What happened for me was I started to see better. And what I saw was an opening. The opening started to form in my consciousness around these energy loops. And this opening started to allow me to see. I didn't go all the way through the loop yet, but I started to see what was going on. So in my awareness, what started to click is I am a ping pong ball, basically, to what's going on in my realm. So every time I had a great money day, I felt amazing. I was high. I celebrated. It felt too good to be true. These big highs. And then the next day, if I didn't see that same money scenario or something happened, I'd be super low. I'd feel down and out, disheartened, low, not fulfilling my potential, just feeling truly off. So I saw the pattern. But like any other pattern, if you don't do anything about it, you're going to go quickly right back. And I remember being in this loop of trying to stay up, but it felt like everybody around me was negative or talking about lack. So it seemed to push me down. And then I was super high again. And then situations around me would push me down. And then I would hear the news and something crisis was going on and it pushed me back down. So my frequency was a ping pong ball to my reality. Throw a number 7 into the chat box if you resonate with that as well, in any sort of way. Maybe you've done a lot of work to get past that, but maybe it still creeps in a little bit here and there. Tell me a little bit more in the chat box. So here's the steps that I started to discover. And I remember listening into the great Bob Proctor, he's my first mentor, and really solidifying an understanding. There's something going on here with my frequency, because feeling and vibration are the same. Great thing for your notes. Feeling equals vibration. Feeling is basically your awareness of the vibration you're in. So every time I was up, my vibration was up. And then every time I was down, my vibration was down. And my frequency was literally going like this. It was like a roller coaster. So I'd have roller coaster days. One day I'd be up, one day I'd be down, one day I'd be right, one day I'd be left. It would just be constantly all over the place. So I remember being in that little space I had in California, which was just an air mattress on a floor with a desk that was probably 100 years old. It was an old wooden desk that seemed to be rotting out. I remember it dawned upon me that said, I need to fix that roller coaster. There's something there in my frequency that's keeping me in this theme over and over and over of lack. So here's what I discovered. I hope you write all these steps down in clear writing. Take some photos of this as well. If you're on your phone, take some screenshots, or if you're on your laptop, take a photo of what we're about to talk about here. But the first one here was identifying what the money theme was. What was it? And here's the key words that rang true for me as I was listening and understanding more about money and understanding everything was victim, lack, or a caregiver lack. I was in both. I had victim thoughts. Why is this happening to me? Why can't I get ahead? Why am I in a plateau? Why is the universe testing me in this way? And then I would have caregiver lack. And what I mean by that is I would try and be other people's saviors or caregiving them or helping them out and basically putting my own needs and wants to the side. This is all from childhood wounds I had. So I would be in this spot where my identity was absolutely one of lack. All the stories, the thoughts, how I felt during the day, if I summed them all up, like think about a math equation. If you don't love math, don't worry, we're not talking about numbers. I'm just saying symbolize, see the math equation. If I have tons of lack thoughts and tons of lack feelings and all this stuff going on, it's going to equal what? A lack result, a lack life. This is where I was at. In the chat box, where are you at? Throw into the first part here. What is your money theme? It could be massive money in, massive money out, lack. It could be gambler lack. Maybe you take a lot of money and then you go to the casino or betting or something of that nature and it leaves you somehow, some way. Or anytime a family member or friend or somebody calls you up, you rescue them. Immediately, you're there. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of something. It doesn't matter if you had a scheduled thing the next day. It doesn't matter if you have this stuff going on. You say, I'm going to drop everything because I need to run to their aid. Or maybe your scenario is one of, well, I just can never get ahead. I take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. It feels like I'm going at a snail's pace. So it could be slow, lethargic lack. Tell me more. What does it look like for you? Vladimir, great to see you on today. Massive money in, massive money out. Colleen, I'm always afraid of lack. Vladimir, same idea. Is this too good to be true? Patricia, it sounds like some childhood wounds. My father was the gambler, right? So you witnessed that. Jen, great to see you on the call. Money comes, but just enough in delayed payments to me. Sluggish lack. In fact, I'm helping one of my one-on-one students, Linda, going through the same idea, this delayed money, delays, slow. Tasha, same idea. I feel bad because I just had to tell a friend I couldn't help her just before this webinar. So we want to ask, why am I feeling bad? What's going on inside of me? And that's not bad. I'm not saying change that, but we ask a little more. Sophia, you mentioned slow, lethargic, massive lack. I've been paying debt. Candy, procrastination lack. Good one there. A couple of more. Have you meant snail lack, snail's pace? Elisa, you mentioned money in, then something happens and it's all gone. The dishwasher breaks and you're like, oh, here it goes again, right? Kendra, large amounts of money in and then debt and then gone, right? Snail's pace. T, Lotus, I'm not sure what your first name is there, helping others more than myself. Jen S, because I know there's a couple of Jennifers, self-sabotage once money starts streaming in. So money comes in and you find ways to go and spend it, sabotage it, leave, something of that nature. I remember when I had my first large amount of money come in, it was over 20K basically in a week. And that wasn't the norm at the time, nor did I have that consistently coming in every month. So it was just like one of those like amazing weeks. And I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do with this money? And I felt so overjoyed. I'm like, oh, this is way more money than I need in my checking account. So I'm going to go ahead and pay off this debt. I'm going to go ahead and buy this thing that I've been craving and really wanting. I'm going to go ahead and buy this seminar that I've always been wanting to go to. I'm going to finish paying off this program. And then before you knew it, I had $2,000 left in my checking account. Anybody else been there before? Whoa, I have all this money. I'm not used to this. I better go and I better get it away. Do you want to know the reason? We don't feel safe with massive amounts of money. The reason is always coming down to safety. I want you to write that down and I want you to circle it as many times as possible. Because if you are not used to having $1,000 in your checking account, $10,000 in your checking account, $40,000 in your checking account, and then you get something like that in there, your nervous system is going to kick in and fight it. It's going to freeze, or it's going to flight, or it's going to go away. Okay, so 3 scenarios: fight, flight, or freeze. Your nervous system is your indicator where you're at. So this was dawning upon me. I was starting to understand back in Los Angeles in my little 1-bedroom townhouse, rented room I was renting out, shared bathroom. So it was just basically a little tiny nook for me to do my entrepreneur work. And I started to see, wow, why am I so in this lack? Why am I so in this victim caregiver lack, snail's pace lack, all this stuff? What's going on there? What's that theme? And what I started to find, and it started to dawn upon me, is I have an attachment, because every day, my biggest attachment was once I get there, once I become Bob Proctor's #1 student, I made it. I made it. I will be accomplished. I'm going to feel special. I'm going to feel worthy. I'm going to feel just amazing. And I imagined that everybody in the city, and I know this is going really bonkers about this, but tell me if you resonate with it. I almost imagined that I was going to walk down the road and it was going to be like a parade. Fireworks were going to go off. There was going to be a parade saying, Scott, 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 you did it. Banners, presents, gifts, I don't know. And me taking all this money in my pockets and giving it away to everybody. Crazy, right? But really what was going on within me was I had an attachment. I didn't feel good until I got there. I didn't feel good until I got, so in my imagination, I use my dream world as my coping mechanism. I dreamed of that parade and everyone getting fired up and saying, oh, you made it, you're accomplished, you're a success, you're in the top 1% of the world, you're somebody. And the more I dreamed that, the more it was a coping mechanism to protect me from the feelings I had within myself. So I started to understand more about attachment. And I'm not talking about just the attachment you hear when you hear about meditation and everything else. What I'm talking about here is I want you to fill this statement in with me. See if this resonates. Once I finally have this, I will finally feel this. If you were to fill that in, I want you to put in the chat box, what would you fill it in? For me at that time, it was like, once I finally become the top coach, once I finally have $20,000 a month coming in, I'll finally feel financially free. I'll feel relieved from pressures financially, and I'll feel like I'm somebody. Now, everybody on this live, you have been studying for a while. You told me that in the early stage, right? We talked about, have you been studying this stuff? So I'm going to guess that you agree that that's not a very good thing that's going on inside of me at that time. That's not very good. No wonder why things were so frustrating. Because if that was my dominant theme, my dominant story was this, keeping the theme alive. So throw it in the chat box. What are your thoughts? Miguel, you mentioned worthy, right? Bernadette, you mentioned accomplished. Sophia, you mentioned once I finally have 20K a month, I'll finally feel freedom. Jennifer, once I reach my financial goals, then I'll feel I'm getting ahead. Anne-Marie, great to see you on today. Once I have my new job, I will feel free. Just a quick shout out to Anne-Marie. She's one of our best students going through this healing because she's a great integrator. Very, very good integrator. She hears what we talk about in the healing, and then she applies it. She practices it. So for anybody else on the live webinar today, I'd also write that down. Be a great integrator. And we're going to talk more about that. Sarah, I got, and then we have Joshua here, 7 figures, hit my goal, and then I'll feel accomplished. We also have respected and feeling worthy and relieved. This is a big one. Carmen, you mentioned, I'll be happier once I have more money. So this statement here is the reason why your theme stays in place. Does that make sense? So let's put in all caps here. This is the theme, your energy loop, and this is your story. The story is why your theme stays where it is. Does that make sense? I'll say it one more time here. The story is why your theme stays where it is. The story is why the energy stays in the loop. So we need to change that. Because the last part that dawned upon me in this sequence for me was I started to realize, okay, I have this huge attachment to becoming the best coach and all this other stuff going on, right? I started to see more clearly in this path was it's really who I think I am. Because I was reading a book called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Anybody heard of that? It's a self-image book, one of Bob Proctor's top recommendations at the time. So I was learning more about my self-image or my identity. If you read anything about Neville Goddard, if you're a fan of his books, maybe you don't know who he is. He's just an author and previous lecturer many years ago. Very profound author. He talks about concepts of self. It's all the same stuff. Self-image, identity, concept of self. It's all the same. So what started to happen for me was I started to see my identity is not matching my desires. And an identity is a frequency. So I must be a mismatch to my own desires. And that's why it's so frustrating. That's why the story stays in place. Because it's reinforced by who I think I am. Who do I think I am today? And who am I really? That hurts. Because a lot of people don't want to know their truth. I did plant medicine many times, and the plant medicine, to put it bluntly, will show you who you are with no mercy. It's very hard work that you do. And it will show you what you've become, whether you like it or not. Once you drink that medicine, or once you, whatever way you're doing the medicine, there's many different plant medicines. For example, when you drink the ayahuasca, there's no going back. You must be confronted with your shadow. Very daunting, very challenging, but it's a lot of healing all in one night, or in many nights, many stringed together. So who do I think I am? Well, I think I am my affirmations. I think I'm that great entrepreneur. I think I'm that rich person. Those are what my dreams are, my visions, my ambitions. Anybody else have those? Throw number 8 into the chat box. Of course, I have a dream and vision of becoming a millionaire, maybe even a billionaire, or just somebody, not even necessarily all that money, but just somebody who's financially well off so I can help more people and serve the world, impact the world, have a bigger message, right? That's the vision. But who am I really? And who you are really is whatever your results show. I'm going to say that one more time. Who you are really is whatever your results are showing. Now, of course, let me clear up some things, because some people say, well, who I am really is a spiritual being. Who I am really is an energetic being in essence. Yes, absolutely. I'm just talking about your programmed level right now. I hope you see the difference there. Okay. So I'm not saying who are you really is your programmed self. I'm not saying that. We're just saying, who am I being today? Who am I acting like today? So let's make sure that's clear. Acting like today. Okay. So you don't get that confused with that question. Of course, you're a much higher being. You're connected to something much higher. What I'm talking about, what are you displaying today, are shown from your results. You're not your results. It's shown and displayed from your results. So if I'm dreaming of becoming a great entrepreneur, a great teacher, a great coach, a great business owner, a great person in this world, but my bank account and my income is $5,000 a month, who I am acting like today is a 5-figure entrepreneur. It's hard to accept, but that's the reality. That's what's going on. The faster you can accept that, the faster you're going to have the progress. The people that don't want to accept it, it's usually because they have a wound around feeling unworthy. So they can't bear in mind to have another feeling of unworthiness. So they try and say, no, that's not me. I'm going to try and act positive only. Okay. A lot of people have a fear that if I say the word debt, or if I say anything negative, or if I feel not positive all day, that I'm going to manifest bad. But it's far from the truth. You can feel angry and get $1 million in tonight. It's because it's about your deep feeling tone, not your day-to-day surface thoughts and feelings. Like, for example, think about the movie Monsters Incorporated, Monsters Inc. Came out many years ago, that Disney movie. Anybody else seen that before? Think about the monsters in that movie. Think about them right now. Think about them. Nothing showed up. And it doesn't mean tonight, tomorrow, next week, you're going to see a monster showing up. It just shows that your surface thoughts don't create reality. It's your emotional feeling tone thoughts that do. There's a difference between surface thoughts and actual real creative thought. Okay. That's the time for another webinar, another masterclass. But I hope you see the difference here. So when we're actually accepting, who am I acting like today? It doesn't mean you're manifesting more bad. You're already manifesting from your theme. We're just acknowledging, what is my theme, story, and identity? So this is like the glue. You have your theme. Your story is why the theme is there. And the glue is why the story stays in that theme. Let's just take a moment here. We're 35 minutes into this webinar. What do you think so far? Maybe throw one word into the chat box. Profound, awakening, eye-opening. What are your thoughts so far about this? This is a lot. And we've only been on here for 35 minutes. But again, I'm so happy you're here because I think you're ready for this. Do you agree? I think that this is something just a little different for you, a little different taste of a lot of that stuff out there. We got mind-blowing, good, absolutely, deeper than rap, sensational, so helpful, yes, informative, great perspective, eye-opening, good, penetrating, eye-opener, awakening, good, deep, eye-opening, inspiring, getting grounded, motivating, informative. This stuff is so deep that sometimes it can be a little overwhelming, right? It can be like, how do I integrate this? So some of you know us, some of you already are clients and students, and some of you have been on my YouTube channel, watching some of those videos, reading our emails and different things. But if you don't, our number one thing that we do here is practicing integration. That's a great thing. Remember, I already told you to write it down. If you haven't already, practice and integration. That's what number 4 is going to be in this exercise here. Practice and integrating. So what happened for me was the only reason why I got rid of the theme, changed the story, and let go of that glue, remember the theme, story, and glue, was because I became a great implementer. So back in that Los Angeles 1-bedroom, shared bathroom place I was living in, I made a declaration to myself and commitment that said, I'm going to be an amazing implementer. I'm going to literally practice everything. I'm not going to be one of those people that just keeps absorbing information, because I saw it. I saw so many people absorbing law of attraction, personal development videos, books, audiobooks, trainings, seminars, all the stuff. And they didn't practice it. And I don't know how it was an act of God. I don't know how I had that awareness, but I knew. I was like, I know why all these people are not doing well. It's because they're not practicing it. And I made a very big declaration. I'm going to become an amazing practicer. Now, that might have been from some of my engineering background or some of my martial arts background. I don't know, because martial arts I have been doing for over 25 years. And I became a black belt very young in Isshinryu karate because my parents owned a karate school. I was very lucky to have that in my life growing up. But the best people in martial arts are ones who come in and practice every time. If they are the best ones. And the ones who don't really do well, so if you're not used to martial art, punching, kicking, doing the forms or katas, learning, understanding, doing competition, sparring, always, every time are the people who never came in and practiced. It was every time. You could guess who was going to win the tournament, who wasn't. It was always the person who came in and practiced. It was hard work. It was very hard actually coming in and practicing on a daily basis. But, you have a craving to win. You want to do what it takes to win. It's kind of like the Imagine Dragons song we listened to starting the webinar, right? Whatever it takes. The same thing goes with this. Okay, so I want you to think, I'm going to become an amazing implementer, an amazing practicer, and I'm not going to learn all this. I'm not going to binge watch anything else until I practice. Then I take in more knowledge and then I practice. What would you say to a child or a kid that had training wheels going, riding their bicycle, training wheels, and then they're ready for the big day and you take off the training wheels? Very daunting. They're on 2 wheels. They're trying to balance. And they get on. And then they fall over. Scratch their knee. Scratch their elbow. They feel really frustrated. They start crying. Feel disheartened. They failed. Didn't work out. And they said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on YouTube. I know this is a young kid, but just play around with it. I'm going to go on YouTube and watch everybody else ride bikes. So they say, okay, as a parent or guardian, okay, if that's what you want to do. And they sit there in front of YouTube and they're excited. They watch kids jumping off ramps and jumping off these different obstacles and mountains and everything. They say, I want to do that. I want to do that. And they keep watching a video. Every day they watch a video. And a month goes by and they're really frustrated because they got on the bike a second time and they fell over. They thought they've watched all the videos, they've seen everybody riding the bikes and jumping off mountains, and they got so frustrated. It didn't work out again. What would you tell that child? What would you tell that kid? What do you think? Go ahead and throw in the chat box, because this is going to be highly relatable to what we're going to be talking about here. Perfect from Vladimir, right? Tell them it's normal. It's okay. You're doing great. Keep practicing. You'll get better. Keep practicing. The key word there, right? Tiffany, try again. Martine, positive self-talk. Cat, practice. Sophia, first learn how to ride. So you're practicing, right? Doing cycling every day. Priyanka, I think I said your name hopefully correctly. Let me know, right? Practice. So this idea is practicing the unattachment work we're going to be doing here. And that dawned upon me. I said, I'm going to become the greatest practicer on planet Earth. So every day I want you to be doing your 10-minute exercise that we're going to go over. We haven't covered that yet. It's going to be the last thing, but you're going to do the 10-minute exercise every day for 14 days. And I want you to commit right here on the webinar that you're going to do this no matter what. I don't care if you're busy. I don't care if you're stressed out. I don't care if there's stuff going on and you got kids and dogs and pets and all there's stuff going on everywhere, that you're going to practice this. Give a commitment. Just say yes in all caps in the chat box. Say, I'm going to commit for the next 14 days. I'm going to do a 10-minute exercise. And you put your written word to it. You put your commitment. You put your accountability. No matter what, I'm going to do this. One thing that helps me out, I would get a sheet of paper out as well. Okay. And draw 14 boxes, 7 and 7, and make a check box every time you do it. And you keep this by something you do every day, like brush your teeth. Maybe you put your phone on the phone charger, whatever you do every day, put this by wherever you eat breakfast, and every day so you remember. Because a lot of my students, if initially, before they work with us, they forget. And they say, oh, I just forgot. Well, that's not a good excuse. You want to go ahead and start checking off 7 days and 7 days, 2 full weeks, 14 days with this. Okay. So we're going to go through that. Now, what the point of all this is, I'm going to start wrapping up all of this into a 10-minute exercise. Okay. This is super important. I hope you write this down. Okay. Is your soul is calling you to the next level. To do so, turn your obstacles into opportunities. So why this theme is in your life right now, right? We talked about the lack. We talked about massive money in, massive money out. Is for you to learn the lessons you need to do to develop your soul to a higher calling. That's why it's here. It's here to serve you. So same thing with me back in Los Angeles. It was here to serve me, to learn what I needed to learn to get out of the loop, out of the story, and out of the glue that was sticking it all together. So I had to learn what I needed to do in order to transform to the next level. So I want you to thank the things that you have around you, the different obstacles you have around you. I want you to say thank you for them. Thank you. You're here to help me learn a lesson. Thank you for being in my life. Thank you for allowing myself to get that calling to the next level. Does this make sense, everyone? Throw a number 9 into chat boxes so that your soul is calling you to a higher level. It shows you where you need to go is your next stumbling block. So these are not universe testing you moments. That's not a fact. What it is these are moments for you to be here, you're stumbling, learn the lessons so that you can go to the next one. Obstacles equal opportunities. That's how this duality works. We got left, we got right, we got up, we got down, we got black, we got white, we got on, we got off. You can't have black without white. You can't have left without right. You can't have opportunities without obstacles. So this will help you during your day not hate these obstacles so much, so that when you practice your 10 minutes, you feel so grateful to do so. That right there will cap everything off. Does everyone understand that? Throw number 10 in the chat box. I know I'm asking for a lot of commenting here, but again, I really want to make sure that before you leave this webinar, you get that important part there. You can be grateful and thankful, because this is where you needed to go in your soul's calling and evolution, because your soul doesn't care what you get in this lifetime. It cares who you become. So it doesn't matter how much money you have in your bank account. Your soul doesn't care. It cares, what are you becoming right now? If you could solely focus on that during these 14 days, I promise you, you'll start to see that theme shift. And it's going to be so relieving to do so. We're going to do the 10-minute exercise. Before we do, there's a step 5. And I need to reveal that step 5 to you because it's just as important as all the other ones. When I was in that little bedroom with that shared bathroom situation in Los Angeles, the thing that had to happen for me was getting support. I had support through all of this. I didn't do it myself. Having that support in your corner, I had somebody looking at my blind spots, my healings, and telling me, hey, you're missing this mark here. Hey, you need to do this. I had a system to go through. It wasn't just random YouTube. I stopped all the random YouTube videos. I stopped all the random audio books, all the random books that you see on the bookshelf here. And instead, I started to get into a system, getting the guidance, and having a soul tribe around me. So I'm going to invite you to go ahead and join our soul tribe by booking a call here to get that guidance. Because a part of this entire process, it's going to be very daunting for you to do this 10-minute exercise by yourself, trying to stay in high vibe, trying to stay in prosperity frequency without having somebody supporting you, guiding you, and giving you the systematic ways of doing this. Okay. So the idea here is, once you have that system, the guidance, support to move to that next level, that's when your progress starts to rapidly increase. So I want you to book a call, and I want to actually talk with you personally in order to, and okay, I know you mentioned, what are we practicing and integrating? We're going to practice and integrate the 10-minute exercise. I'm about to go through that. But I want you to book a call and discuss with me your current theme, story, and glue. I'm going to identify those for you on our call. And then we're going to talk about getting into more of support, mentorship, program, and system environment to help you to that next level. Okay. So before we go into a 10-minute exercise, go ahead and book your call. There's going to be some questions about what we discussed here. What's your theme? Where are you at currently? What's your biggest obstacle, which is your story, your attachment? Where are you right now? Okay. The link is right there in the chat box, and I'll also put it here on the screen so you have it. It's manifestwithscott.com/ready. And once you book that call, again, we're going to be talking more thoroughly about where you're transforming, where you're going, and that bridge, so that from here, for the next 12 months, you're going to have that exact support, the deep inner core healing, and allowing you to move to that next level. And this is somebody mentioned, is this a paid call? No, this is free. You book the call because we're just going to be solidifying all of this to go forth. Your theme, your story, your identity or glue. We're going to be talking through all of that together. So what happened for me, again, was I would be in that place in LA, and I just needed that guidance. I needed that support to move life forward. I needed to know somebody that could help me out with the theme, identifying it, really working through it, and being able to stay accountable throughout the entire system. Okay, so go ahead and book a call and let us know in the chat box once you are ready. And I think your name is Priyanka. You mentioned is showing 250. That's just on the Calendly link there that I put there. Okay, again, the call is free call just to start talking and chatting a little bit more about this theme and story. Okay, So go ahead and book the call here. We'll take just 2 minutes, have you book the call, and then we're going to do the 10-minute exercise. So stay with us here. We're 51 minutes in. We're right on time. Again, this should be about 60 minutes or so. So it's going to be really important when I sit down and talk with you, and when we're on our call together, that I figure out why your theme is there. Where did that come from, and why is that in your life? So the massive money in, massive money out, the idea of getting able to have that abundance in your life and what that looks like, okay? We're going to talk through, because it's coming from a childhood trauma. That childhood trauma is always a rebellion or mirroring of a parent or guardian, your mother, your father, somebody that grew up against. So why, number one, is there that theme is because somebody in your life didn't have a great grip on their finances. And you could have been around parents that were free spenders and never saved and invested. So you're a heavy saver and investor, right? You rebelled against what they did. Or you could have been on the opposite. They never spent money on you or anybody else. So when you start to have money, you became a free spender. Those are examples of rebellions. So we need to understand a little bit more. Why is that theme there? Why is the story circling in your mind? What is the identity matching with it? And we're going to identify all that together. And then you're going to get that continuous help right away after. Okay, so let me know if you booked a call. Throw number 11 into the chat box if you booked your call, so we know we can get a little engagement here of who has. And then we'll go ahead and jump into, again, the 10-minute exercise. Okay, we got a few of you commenting 11. Remember to comment everyone, and not just hosts and panelists. A few of you mentioned it's still loading. Okay, take your time here. Again, once we're on the call together, this could be your biggest breakthrough moment, because getting that support and help will take you to the next level. We had a client, Jeff, who joined us last October. Okay, so 2022, October would have been, about 8 months or so? And he was stuck in a loop around money in, money out, massive. He would have maybe $20,000, $30,000 come in, $20,000, $30,000 go out, over and over and over. And he wanted to get to $50,000 per month, but keep the money. Eric, I know you mentioned, is the exercise, I think, our obstacles for 10 minutes. Eric, I'm about to go through the 10-minute exercise right after this, just after everyone goes ahead and books their call. We're gonna dive into that. So what Jeff started to do was allow himself to see the attachment and his attachment, and then also the story, and then also the identity. And identity was, I'm a free spender. From that place, we worked through it. It was very quickly. It was all the way to February, about 3.5, 4 months later. And in February, he had his first $50,000 month. It was like the end of February, early March timeframe. And he kept the money in his checking account. So if you're taking notes on this, he kept the money in his checking account and did not spend it. So me and my team, my accountability success coach, Sheila, is working with them as well, because we make sure you have integration and accountability on a weekly basis. And that's what Jeff was getting, was his accountability. We allowed it to, the guidance was, have this amount of money stay in your bank account and don't touch it for 30 days. And allow your nervous system to start normalizing that amount of money. Does that make sense for anyone else? So we started to have his new story, new identity, and new theme normalized in this other realm. So it's very much like the parallel realities that I talk about a lot in my YouTube videos and the emails I sent out, is you need to shift into that parallel reality and stay there. Now, a lot of people tell me, well, Scott, I haven't had that quantum leap like Jeff did. I haven't had that quantum leap like you have. So I don't have the money in there. So what we need to do is, it's not about already having the money. He did the work to get there. And the work was this 10-minute exercise. And we did a lot more. It goes well beyond this 10-minute exercise. I just can't cover. We'd be on like a 20-hour webinar if I covered everything. But that's why we have our mentorship, support, program, systems, and environment to help you go well past where you're at right now, like completely to that next level. Okay, so I'm going to jump into the 10-minute exercise here. I've seen a lot of 11s come through. So it looks like you have your sessions book, Kendra, Martine, Rafe, Katonia, great to see you, Katonia. Marcia, good idea, good question here. You don't need to book a call, but I can get you on a call with our team. So Marcia, just go ahead and send me a text and email after this. It's great to see you on the webinar today. Colleen, a few more of you. Again, throw 11 into the chat box. Power Paul, it looks like. I don't know if your first name is just Paul. Let me know. Tasha. Okay, again, make sure you go ahead and solidify the call. I only have next week available, and I'm out week of June 26th. I'm going to international travel for the week. Okay, so I won't be available. So next week is it. 10-minute exercise. You're going to fill in the blank here. Once I am connected with the universe, I will finally feel blank. We discussed this in number 2. You're changing your definition of your story. That's first. Even before we do that, we're going to add in one more thing here. My new money theme is blank. Fill in the blank. My new money theme is this. Once I'm connected with source, I'll finally feel this. That same feeling is from number 2. So if you wrote down, once I finally have $10,000 coming in per month, I'll finally feel relieved and awesome and powerful, or gratitude. You're going to put those same feelings down there. Once I'm connected with the universe, I'll finally feel blank. I know I'm going through this quick. We're going to take a moment for questions at the end. Okay. So my new money theme is this. Once I'm connected with the universe, I will finally feel this. This is my new action to form my new identity. This action is going to be something opposite to what you normally do. If you're a free spender, you're going to become a saver. If you're a saver, you're going to become a little bit of a free spender. Right? So you're going to pick an action that is aligned with your new story, theme, and identity. Again, let me know if you have any questions as we go through this, and I'll answer those. Every day, you are going to connect with the universe and feel good now. Plus, say out loud, the universe is abundant and grateful. So the 10-minute exercise is you're going to say your new money theme out loud for 60 seconds over and over. Then you're going to say your new story out loud for 60 seconds over and over. You're going to say your new action out loud for 60 seconds over and over. So you're going to repeat this out loud. Once I'm connected to source, I'll finally feel amazing. Once I connect to source, I'll finally feel amazing. You're going to say it out loud. You're going to connect to source for 3 minutes. And then you're going to do your universe is abundant and grateful for 4 minutes. 60 seconds with 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. The 3 minute one, which is the fourth one down, every day you're going to connect to source. You're going to go ahead and close your eyes, visualize what you would picture as the universe, like a bright sun, a bright galaxy, whatever that color and bright light is. And you're going to visualize yourself connected with it. And you're going to say, I feel so good right now, source, because you feel so good. So you're rewiring your definition of your story. And the rest of your day, the 4 minutes, you're going to do the 4 minutes. And then the rest of your day, you're going to think about that. Universe is abundant and grateful. Don't think about money. Don't think about your debt scenario. Don't think about your challenges. Don't think about any of that stuff. You're just going to think about the universe is abundant and grateful. The universe is abundant and grateful. And it is. Look at all the books behind me. This is hundreds of years of knowledge and wisdom. See how abundant it is? So if I look at this, those are just books. But what if I see the universe is abundant and so grateful? The universe is so abundant and so grateful. In fact, I just created a binaural beats meditation on this week, that's upcoming this week on the YouTube channel that will help with this. So you can just listen to it rather than say it out loud. But you look around you and you say, the universe is so abundant and grateful. Look at all the light. The universe is so abundant and grateful. Look at the blue outside. The universe is so abundant and grateful. You look at the amount of pieces of grass on the ground. The universe is so abundant and grateful. And you keep this in your mind all day. Go ahead and write down in the chat box all day if you get that idea. As much of your day as possible, you're going to keep this concept in your mind. The universe is abundant and grateful. The universe is abundant and grateful. The universe is abundant and grateful. You're going to say it out loud. You're going to think it. You're going to feel it. You're going to become it as much as possible. So the 10-minute exercise again is my new money theme is, once I'm connected with source, I'll finally feel blank. This is my new action for my new identity. Every day, you're going to connect to source and feel good now by saying it out loud and saying also out loud, universe is abundant and grateful. Okay. Let me know if that makes sense for everyone there. And again, allowing yourself to be in a great space internally. Does anyone have any questions? We're now over the hour mark by a couple of minutes. Take a screenshot of this, if that would be helpful, and go ahead and let me know in the chat box if you have any questions. If you already did ask a question, if you don't mind repasting it, because I didn't see a question here yet. Mayasha, you mentioned, can you repeat the 60 seconds exercise again? Yep, so the 60-second ones are here. You see these here? Oh, let me get a little arrow or a star. You're going to say, my new money theme is out loud. My new money theme is abundant. My new money theme is massive money in and no money out. My new money theme is abundant teacher and coach. My new money theme is 8-figure entrepreneur with massive money in, no money out. Basically opposite your theme today. Once I'm connected with source, I'll finally feel you fill in the blank. Say that out loud over and over for 1 minute. This new action for my new identity, you're going to say that out loud for 1 minute. An action that corresponds with your new theme. Saving money, investing money, maybe going through all of your bank statements and saying, I don't need a bunch of this stuff, so I'm not going to spend this money. Or a new thing I'm going to do in the business to start leaping. You're going to connect to source for the 3 minutes. You're not going to say it out loud. You're going to go ahead and visualize source, visualize God, universe, whatever you call it. Connect with that thing. And then you're going to say out loud, The universe is abundant and grateful for 4 minutes, but then the rest of your day, you're going to keep that in your awareness. So Eric, you mentioned 3 minutes to just connect and feel good, whereas 4 minutes to say universe abundant and grateful. Correct. You said it right. You said I don't get the 3-minute exercise. That's right. You're just connecting and feeling good because you're redefining, Eric, your internal money wiring. Right now it's defined as I'll feel good once I have money. Instead, you're saying, no, I'm going to feel good because I can feel good right now with God, universe, source, higher power. Therefore, your frequency is going to stay up here because God and source and universe are always there. Money's not always there. You see the difference? So if I'm saying I'll feel good once I get money, well, you're never going to feel good because you never have money, right? So you say, I'm going to feel good because source feels good. And I'm going to keep my frequency elevated because I can. And that's when the money responds. Let me know if that makes sense. Yep. Yes. Yes. Sarah, I agree. I think source God is often left out, and I think it should always be in there. Perfect. Okay, fantastic. Again, last call. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the webinar. If you haven't booked your call yet, book your call. This is life transformational. If you liked and enjoyed anything about today, take it and run with it. You don't need to necessarily have to, especially if you're on a very slim financial budget or something like that, like you want to try this out for 14 days, run. This is something that's so valuable to you. So it's not just about booking a call, like this is it. But if you're ready to go way deeper, you love this stuff, you want to really take it to the next level quickly, then book the call. Because that's how you're going to get there. That's how it happened for me. That's how I launched all those money increments I told you about, 10,000 a month and 20,000, 50,000, 6 figures in a day. All those numbers only came because I had the mentor, the helping of the healing. And by the way, I borrowed the money. I didn't have money when I started. I told you my story. So I borrowed the money. And even for us, we even have better right now. We have financing available. So you can literally get started for $0. And then you actually don't pay a payment for 30 days. I've had some of my students, not all of them, some of them earn more money in the first 30 days working together than the financing was even for. So they paid off the financing even before a payment was due. Anybody else like that scenario? It's an investment that's going to pay you back. So we have so many different options, and I don't want you to feel constrained by like, oh, I can't do this because, I'm in a tight spot. Listen, I've been there. It's not easy. It's really not. When I was living in California, I didn't even know how to get money for rent. I had a really used Land Rover. Sounds great. Oh, you got a Range Rover. I had a brand new one later in life, but I had a real old Land Rover. Believe me, it wasn't anything special. It needed a lot of work. It was not worth a lot of money. And I sold that in order to get into the programs and different things. I sold it. I couldn't get to the gym anymore. I had to ride a bicycle miles. On a bicycle that was like a mountain bike that had like no air in the tires. I literally biked all the way to the gym. I think it was 4 miles on a bike. I know that's not that far, but you're biking there and biking all the way back every day. Man, that makes you not want to go to the gym though, right? Because when it was pouring outside, I was on a bicycle. When it was really hot, 95 degrees in California, I was on the bicycle. When it was freezing outside, I was on the bicycle, right? So, it was very, very challenging. When I went to the grocery store, because I was still doing my own groceries at that point, I would literally bike all the way down to the grocery store. I would go to a local Sprouts. Those of you who know what Sprouts is. It's a great, great store compared to all the other ones. And I would pile my grocery bags on the handlebar. So I would have 3 or 4 grocery bags on one handlebar, 3 and 4 grocery bags on the other. And I had so many times where I would get like so many. I'm a very regimented person in terms of health and fitness. Like I do a lot of it was very heavy lifting, kind of like the bodybuilding style and eating wise. And I would eat a lot of sweet potatoes. So obviously those are heavy. I put like 10 sweet potatoes in one bag, and there were the paper bags. And I couldn't tell how many times those bags fell apart on the way back to my place, because obviously you're walking back with the bike a mile and a half, which took me about 30 minutes. When it was raining outside, the bag would get wet and it would split open, right? So we all go through those really, really challenging times. It just comes down to how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? I borrowed money from my father. I took all the 401k money I had out of my investment account, which was nothing. It was just a little bit from doing some engineering, and sold my Land Rover. That was a used small time Land Rover. And David, I know you mentioned backpack. I had a backpack, but I only want to go to the grocery store once a week, and I would eat so much food. When you're doing very heavy lifting, you eat a lot of food. So in the backpack, I'd have like all the fresh produce and everything else. And then on the handlebars, I'd have all my sweet potatoes. I would have all the meats, the chicken and the ground turkey and all the different things going on there. But I couldn't put it on the book bag. So I had to strap it on the handlebars. It's just there. So but I wanted it. I could not do what I was doing anymore. I was at the brink. I was like, I can't do it. I can't do this stuff anymore. So I said, whatever it takes. If I need to sell this Land Rover, I also had an old motorcycle back in my family's place in New York. I just sold every possible thing around my house and other house that I could possibly do in order to make it happen. It's not easy, but you always remember these moments. You always look back. And for all of you on the call today, I thank you so much for being here. It says so much about you. It says so much greatness about you that you're here and you're ready to elevate your spirits. You're ready to awaken to a new level, and you can do it. Okay. You can really, really do it. So some of you asked, is this recorded? It is recorded. We usually have it up within, today's Friday, actually. So by Monday, if not tonight, it just matters how fast Zoom can process, and we won't be here on the weekend. So if Zoom can process real quick, then we'll have it out tonight. If not, it'll be on Monday. You mentioned T. Lotus, you mentioned great outdoor and martial arts training. Yes, but when you're training every day, you kind of need a break, right? Sahida mentioned challenges grow us to newer heights. Well said. Yeah. Tilos, you mentioned real warrior trainings. Luann, great to see you on today. Seems like we take steps back and then forward again. Absolutely. But you start to move forward in a different space. Mary mentioned, but the financing is for good credit. Yeah, I mean, you need decent credit. We're seeing right now over 600 will get accepted. So, I mean, if you're really down and out, you're at 500 credit score or 480 because of scenarios that popped up for you. Yeah, you're probably going to need to do some credit repair before you do any of the financing. But we have plenty of solutions that might be possible. So, all right, really good. Okay, so we'll go ahead and conclude here. Again, just before I stop the screen share, please do take a screenshot. I hope you found immense value in. We are here for 60 minutes. Really, I know it's 75 minutes now, but the main part of this was 60 minutes. And I hope you just found profound awakening. You found something here that could really help you to the next level. You just found something within yourself that you're saying, I know why the theme's there. I know why the story is, or I know why. I know what to practice. I know what to do, those kinds of ideas. For sure, jump on my YouTube channel if you haven't. That'll give you some. I really provide a lot on there that will provide you a couple of the connecting links. And if you're not already joining our school group, that will help you as well. It gives you a lot of community for all this. So you're joining the school group now. Yeah, get in that school group. It's a free group. I have tons of content in there. Really good. Adriana, Mary, Jennifer, Vladimir. Starlin, you mentioned on cost. We'll talk about that on the call. Once you book the call, we're super transparent. You're going to get a video. It's 43 minutes long that tells you every little detail of our program, everything you need to know, including investment, because we got a couple of different packages going on there. So The cost is it's extremely affordable, like extremely. So it really won't be a big deal. I think anybody in this world can find the money, no matter where you're at. Again, thank you so much, everyone, for being here, being with us. Thank you for taking your time on this Friday. How many other people are doing things on Friday? They're going out, they're having to do all this stuff, but you took your time to invest in you and take that time and effort to do so, which is amazing. So happy to have you here. Very good. And I look forward to seeing you over in the school group. And then those of you that booked a call, I look forward to chatting with you. Let's get you to your next level. Let's get you out of the plateau. Let's get you into a flow, abundance, prosperity, and all of it. Really good. Sending light, prosperity, and blessings to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching the replay, my calendar will be back open the first week in July, or if there's still spots at the end of June here, book that. Okay, again, that 1 week's going to be out. So if you still see any spots, book that right away. Make sure you're in it with us. Make sure you're going to that next level. All right. Take care, everyone. Sending blessings. We'll see you real soon.